Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome to the 2025 Twin Cities Film Fest, sponsored by Stearns Bank. We have a very special guest with us today, Dr. Sam Torres. Could you remind us of what your title is and also what you do?
My name is Sam Torres. I'm a Shika Nawa, indigenous Mexican, born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I'm the Deputy Chief Executive Officer for the National Native American Boarding School Healing Coalition.
That's awesome. Your work has been incredibly impactful. Can you tell us about how your heritage has sort of inspired you down the path that you're on?
So this path of working with the Boarding School Healing Coalition, of course, like so many of us indigenous people, starts with asking questions of our family members, the impacts of historical trauma, the impacts of intergenerational trauma, and what our pathway towards healing is. And so I carry those questions and that journey towards healing in my work and how it shows up for other folks also seeking to walk a similar path.
Yeah. So you've done research in the position that you're in. Do you have any sort of powerful stories or discoveries that you want to share with us?
Absolutely. When I first was brought to the Healing Coalition, I was actually hired as the Director of Research and Programs, and one of the first questions that we started asking as a result of really the under-examined legacy of boarding schools, the federal Indian policies that these lands have known, we were asking very simple questions like how many boarding school institutions there were, how many children went missing or were taken away, and how many children never came home. And initially the federal government had zero interest in wanting to find those answers, and so we took it upon ourselves to conduct research. After submitting a FOIA request and really getting no answers at all, we decided to deploy our own team of researchers and really try to learn those stories directly from people, but also from those first-person accounts, boarding school relatives, survivors that went there directly to share with us what those experiences were like. And we continue to share that legacy and try to open more pathways toward healing with those stories in that context.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, with this film, Remaining Native, I want to ask, why do you think it's important to sort of highlight these stories through film?
I think it's really important because first and foremost, obviously, it has to start with the truth. We have to understand what the impact and the extent of those federal policies were to our indigenous relatives, but it can't stop there. As many of us know, in early 2021, when the 215 plus children from Kamloops was discovered in a mass grave, there was a kind of international reckoning, and folks were trying to understand how something like that could happen, but also what comes next. And so this film, Remaining Native, I think does a really amazing job of demonstrating and highlighting what one individual, what one community, what one group of folks, relatives coming together to say, this is how we are going to show what healing looks like for us. Healing looks different for everyone in every community, in every tribe, but Ku is showing us as a young leader what that looks like for him and his family.
Yeah, and we were just talking about your connection to the director, Paige. I think that's a beautiful story. Could you kind of tell us how you got started in really getting to know what Remaining Native is about?
So Paige reached out to us about 4 years ago and had many simple questions for us, like how can we do some good collaborative work together? And we were really excited about the premise and the promise of this film as a film project, but also how can we take this beyond the film. We already are seeing that multiple communities coming together and having remembrance runs in their own region, in their own communities, and we're seeing how that impact, that coup really pioneered that movement, that momentum. I think that's something that very much Paige had a vision, a strong vision of how do we make this as big of an impact as possible. Through that time, we've gotten a lot closer. We have been doing a lot of really great collaborative work together, and even so much as, Paige, of course, inviting us to her wedding, which was amazing. She got married this year, and in this work, it's not just a project, it's not just a job, it's not just something that we come together because we believe in the project. It's something that has really created a long-lasting friendship and kinship that we know that we're going to continue to cultivate for many years to come.
Yeah, and so asking the right questions, being able to kind of center the community, that seems to be sort of the central focus of your work. Can I ask what gives you hope for the future of healing as far as Indigenous boarding schools?
I has to look at I have to look at Paige and Ku directly as amazing models and examples of what that looks like for their families, their communities, and as an inspiration for all of us seeking to answer those questions of what does healing look like for us. We need more Native filmmakers. We need more Native-led projects such as this who are opening pathways and doors for Native people to tell their own stories directly from their own lips, not interpreted by folks whose stories they're just learning about for the first time. And so I think there's a great power in that. We're seeing a lot of Native filmmakers and projects such as these begin to be honored and recognized for that interpretive lens. And for Ku is showing us, he's a teacher. As a young leader, he's teaching us what healing can look like. As an elite athlete, as a runner who is showing that for him, that is how he connects to the land, to his great-grandfather, to his family, to the legacy, the history that, of course, we're all injured from, but are seeking to repair those wounds. He's showing us that this is a way, it's a profound way that we can walk that healing path. And so we hope to be able to see this inspire an entire generation of people, hopefully young people, to be able to see that this is possible, that this is not just something that is for our elders to deal with. It's an intergenerational challenge that is confronting us in this moment.
Wow, so beautiful. I'm so excited for our audiences here at the Edina Man Theater to be able to see this story. And I want to thank you so much for joining us. And thank you guys so much for watching.